In 1973, the head of the CIA gave an order: destroy every file. Nearly all of it burned. What survived reveals one of the most disturbing chapters in American history. It began in 1953. The Cold War was at its peak, and the CIA believed the Soviets had discovered how to control the human mind. Their answer was a program with no ethical limits, no consent forms, and almost no oversight. They called it MKUltra. The program was run by a chemist named Sidney Gottlieb. Colleagues described him as soft-spoken, almost gentle. He also personally oversaw the drugging of unwitting American citizens with LSD, just to observe what would happen to their minds. Some subjects were prisoners, some were mental patients, some were sex workers, dosed without their knowledge in CIA-run safe houses, while agents watched through one-way mirrors. But some victims were simply ordinary citizens, co-workers at government agencies who had no idea they'd been drugged until the effects took hold. One of the clearest examples is Frank Olson, an Army scientist. In November 1953, he was secretly dosed with LSD by his own colleagues during a work retreat. 9 days later, he fell to his death from a hotel window in New York. The official report called it suicide. His family spent decades trying to prove otherwise. MKUltra wasn't a single experiment. It was an umbrella for over 150 separate sub-projects, run across dozens of universities, hospitals, and prisons across the United States and Canada, often without the institutions themselves fully understanding what they were funding. Sensory deprivation, electroshock, sleep deprivation lasting weeks, psychological torment designed to break down a person's identity completely, with the goal of rebuilding it under CIA control. This wasn't just about drugs. It was an attempt to engineer obedience itself. For 20 years, none of this reached the public. Then in 1973, facing a growing Watergate-era climate of investigation, CIA Director Richard Helms ordered nearly all MKUltra records destroyed. What we know today survives almost entirely by accident. A small cache of financial documents that had been misfiled and therefore missed the shredder. The full scope only came to light in 1975, when the Church Committee, a Senate investigation into intelligence abuses, forced the CIA to admit the program existed. Even then, officials testified they couldn't reconstruct exactly how many people had been affected, because the evidence no longer existed. Survivors who came forward described permanent psychological damage. Some never recovered their sense of identity. Others spent the rest of their lives distrustful of every institution meant to protect them. And to this day, most victims never received any acknowledgement, let alone compensation. MKUltra is often dismissed as a Cold War relic, but the questions it raised never went away. How far should a government go in the name of national security? And what happens when the people meant to oversee that power decide, quietly, to answer that question themselves? Even the surviving documents that were released are heavily redacted, entire pages blacked out, names removed, whole sub-projects reduced to a project number and nothing else. Researchers still don't know the full list of institutions involved. Some may never be identified. What makes MKUltra different from a conspiracy theory is simple. We don't have to speculate. The government admitted it happened. The only mystery left is how much of it we'll never know, because someone already made sure of that. History changes. Human patterns remain. And somewhere in a records room we'll never see, the full truth still waits to be found. If you enjoyed this investigation, subscribe for more mysteries, conspiracies, history, and unexplained stories. Until then, stay curious.